Okay, thank you, John. It was very interesting and a good now bridge to our topic today. So we are digging deeper, a bit deeper to the from resistance to resilience and how data management could be catalyst for our strategic success. But hey, John, you met already. So I met John first time in 2015. I participated in London DCAM course, and since then I've actually been the fan. Sorry to say it in front of all of these people, but just haven't so. Yes, but we wanted to bring some Finnish insight here as well. So we have Hanne Vähäkainu from what is Työllisyysrahasto in English?
Employment Fund.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and Hanne is bringing us really long experience from both finance and public sector, but also from architecture, data management, data governance, and just name it. And then we have Maija Nikula, and Maija has also like many years in this field and currently enterprise architect title in Wärtsilä, but Maija is also the CDO IQ ambassador in Finland. So basically data is very close to Maija's heart and the experience in there. Then we have Juha, who is then from Microsoft, and you met also Juha in the beginning, and he will bring us the technology viewpoints, how we have great tools, what to do, but he also has insight about the customers that what kind of things customers should consider maybe when doing these things. I'm Ritva Aula, working in Tietoevry as a data advisor, and my journey has been like 20-something years from the outcome first, from leading some reporting, then I was leading the development of reporting, then I noticed, okay, master data warehousing are important, then I went there, then we found architecture process, data architecture, business information modeling, then data governance, metadata management, data quality, and now I have found strategy, people, organization, and those things. I don't know what comes next, but it seems that what John, you said in the end was that if you don't do these basic things, it's very difficult to get good outcomes, and that's something I think we all have learned here. But just a question to audience that when we talk about resistance, do you see and experience resistance in your organization? So hand up. Anybody? Not many, so yeah, I was thinking that it would have been, yeah. Okay, but let's go to the situation in Finland and based on, of course, you have also global experience, Maija, but maybe we start from you. That what is your opinion about this resistance topic and from the industry point of view and so on? Yeah.
Thanks. And first of all, it's horrifying to be here because I can see so many data professionals in front of me. Oh my gosh, they know more than me. Okay. Nobody is resisting a good quality data. No one is resisting that one. That's clear. But everybody is resisting the effort what you need to be doing for it. And that's the challenge. It's like I want to have a house, but I don't want to pay for that house. Storytelling, you can see. What's the root cause for it? I think it's like twofold. First of all, data is not something what you can touch. It's abstract. And when something is abstract, 99% of people don't get it. Because you cannot touch it, especially in the engineering companies, especially in the manufacturing, because your world needs to be something what you can touch. So that's one reason for being having a resistance for change and not putting an effort there. The second one is that word data is used quite often in very technology context. Database, data platform, data integration. All these words are very technology related. So by the nature, our business stakeholders start to think of that, oh my gosh, this is a technology, they will solve it out. They will sort it out one way or another. they forget that that technology is the container, but data is the content. And there's a huge difference between this one. And I think this is also the thing why it's so difficult to get an attention from the business stakeholders for this data topic as an overall.
Okay, thank you. Then, Hanne, you have been working in financial industry, public sector, and I don't know where other places, but they have a lot of regulations and that kind of things. And John was telling that with the BCPS 239 you got all the money, but how is it in those this resistance? Do you see it in those areas where the regulations are heavy?
Well, it always helps if you have the risk officer saying that, okay, we need to do something about it. You know, the data is important, but what I have found is that even though even the C-level managers, when they talk about it, it's not really coming into anything tangible. And one thing that I'm sort of like continuing your train of thought here, but one thing that we are kind of lacking here is the actual recognition of the work that needs to be done in the business. So basically, the sort of like the roles, the business roles need to be amended with the tasks that are related to data, because that's where the actual work is going to be done anyway. And it's already done there, but people don't really recognize it, and it's not very systematic. We have a lot of people who are doing really good work on it, but again, the sort of like the systematic approach is lacking, and that is something that we need to sell to our organization, so that actually it comes from the HR, that our role descriptions in the business are reflecting the work that needs to be done with the data. And also, when we talk about the actual data culture here, we need to understand that even though we are working with we are selling things, products to our customers, we are developing products in our factories and in our product development departments, there is always the data that actually represents products, customers, the world around us, and we need to actually nurture that data. We need to do the design, we need to capture the metadata, and we need to figure out what is the actual data quality which we are aiming for. So there is a lot of sort of like really sort of like a footwork to be done, and it needs to be done on a very concrete level to people to understand. And we also need to sell it in terms of, hey, this is going to be a really big, I would say a really great opportunity for you all business people to expand your career with this data management stuff, because that's something that this world is going to be anyway. We need to do the data management. We need to build a really strong basis for it. And that is done by all the people in the company, not only the IT staff.
Good, thanks. Then Juha, you are looking this, we brought you here to talk about from the technology perspective. John told, and we know that our leaders often go and buy tools. They go to seminars, somebody says AI comes, solves this, or the data platform or anything like that. But then there are things behind it. Do you see this kind of resistance towards data management in these discussions with customers, or do you know, or is there reasons behind those things if you see?
Yeah, I do see resistance, or I think it's something that is prohibiting the adoption of the technology from technology point of view. So we do have technologies, multiple tools, and to help the governance and set up the policies and do a monitoring and or helps in auditing. So we do have the technologies in place, but the adoption is not there. And I think that I underline what was earlier discussed, that it's something that maybe business is not thinking or is not knowledgeable about. I mean, if you have in manufacturing the asset manager, for example, and you have a product manager then who knows the product. You have a supply chain responsible person for that current product, and you have a marketing around the product, and you have the R&D for the product. But if data is an asset, so do you have an asset manager for that? No. And now with the business comes multiple new use cases in the AI. So we want to use the generative AI, and we want to use that, and let's say the analysts have different ways, and the expectation for analysts also to show different type of reporting to the business users is changing. So again, it boils down that they do projects, and data management is not funded through the project. So data management is part of the IT cost. And then if you add the streams and it's not understood why it needs to be done, then it's not part of the project planning or budget planning. And then it comes as a surprise that, hey, why is this data management so difficult? It costs and it makes delays into my AI project. So I think it's a matter of knowledge and teaching the business and the owners of the data the importance of controlling that, and what it also enables for them in the future. So it's not that just a siloed one project, one silo. And in worst case, we see it that when the technology is there, and if the data management is considered something that is super hard and it's not supporting our business outcomes, if you will, so then a different new silo will be created somewhere in the organization. And those silos, again, the more and more silos, the more and more it prohibits the big picture and the benefits that you can get out of the data. So, yeah, we do see that.
I think that supports, well, your comment about I want the house, but I don't want to build it. Right? Very similar. And I've had many conversations where, remember the days of big data? I had people call me up saying, we want to get into big data. And I say, why? Because I just read an article on it. Do you have a business case? No. Do you have a data program? No. Do you have data people? No. But I want to get into big data. And we're seeing the same thing with AI. Right? I want, management is saying we have to get into AI. We have to be an AI shop. And they have, they may have an understanding of maybe where it brings them, but they don't understand that there's infrastructure that has to be built. There's basic components, data. And that's where, again, I think we as professionals have to explain that story, right? And that's where I think the resistance comes, because when you then say to them, well, there's cost involved, there's some time to spend to do that, it's kind of the same story that the governance story when data governance was first introduced. Everybody said, oh, yes, we need data governance. Oh, good. Okay, well, that means you can't do this. Oh, I don't want data governance anymore. Right?
Yeah.
So,
one comment to that. There was an architect I had a discussion with who asked me that why do we need to define in data governance and so on, an architecture, we talk about that we should define things clearly, that all of us would know what we are talking about. We should register them in a common metadata repository. But then an architect said to me that it takes so long time and we don't, what is the value? They kind of, sorry to say to you who are architects, that person didn't understand that we want to put it into the repository so that other people can use it. They understand, okay, this data is something I need to have privacy controls. This data is something I need to, and this is what I mean when it's in my context. But the idea was that, okay, it's only the cost side. We just do data governance policy. We just do the metadata work or architecture work, but we don't use it in our development. What's that?
There's also, there was a book written a while ago called The Art of the Long View. We suffer from the curse of the short view. Yeah, because we don't recognize how quickly can you build this, not realizing if you don't build it soundly, a year from now, 2 years from now, those things fall apart. Right? So again, we have to make sure that we describe why it's needed to do those things up front to make sustainable solutions.
From you, I was still going to ask about this global view. You explained us that how to the shopping cart, the first it was the back office, if I recall it correctly, then it was defensive regulator, and then it's the offensive and even innovation. And you showed how many CDOs are now on the C-suite, but I think we are a bit behind here in Finland in general. But is it easier now in other countries to sell these topics? Is US, Netherlands, UK, are they kind of, have they got over the biggest hurdle?
So the next question is going to be...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I always struggle with that question because it is a universal problem.
Yeah.
There might be some areas, whether it's country or industry, that are moving along faster than others. But even the ones that are moving along faster still struggle. I would say that, and we've seen this, finance tends to be the lead only because we went through the financial crisis and all focus was on finance and banking and getting that straightened out. But finance still struggles with it, manufacturing, others. So it's hard to give a blanket answer to that. I mean, as long as we stay diligent in describing it, I think, there's a catch-up. There was more disparity 10 years ago than there is now. Yeah. I guess that's the best way to answer it. I think it's kind of smoothed a bit.
Okay, thank you.
And this way I get invited back because I don't want to see anything like I said.
Okay, but hey, let's move to we all have heard now that actually there is a lot of benefits about the data management, and we should be better in marketing and sales. And I have been psychologically tested like 20 years ago that I said I was really good in many things, but not in sales. And then I fell in love with data, and I should have been that selling person. But we know that it's saving money, it's getting the right data for decision making. We can innovate and do all these things if the foundation is done. But then maybe what I would like to hear to the audience that what are your views about this really, that how can this be a catalyst for the future, and for example, Hanne, that I heard you saying that you have, for example, I would like you to tell the audience that why you in your organization you have found out that the data is very critical for you, and then I heard you talking about the data strategy. Maybe you might want to also discuss that a bit.
All right, then. Yes, my current employer is aiming for, I would say, fully digitalize all our services. And as everybody probably here knows, what that means is that everything is going to be based on data. Data is going to drive the processes. We need to collect proper, correct data in order to produce our services that we are offering our customers. And on the other hand, we also want to offer data, I would say correct and good quality data for our management to make the proper decisions in order to develop our business. So that's what we are aiming to do. And when I was listening to all of you speaking, and I was thinking that, the last 20 years of my career has been a bit of a groundhog day in terms of data management, because the same cycle seems to sort of repeat in a little bit different form. When we come to first there was, I would say, business intelligence and data warehousing. The weakness was the data management. The data was bad, and it was really, really, I would say, it took a lot of effort to develop good solutions for data warehousing and BI and business intelligence and reporting. Then we come to the analytics. Again, the same things happen. Again, the weak link is the data management. And now we are coming to the age of digitalization and AI. And again, we are talking about data management. And one would think that, this would also be being, corrected a long time ago. And everybody in business all around the world would understand why data is important, but it's not. It's not the case. And that's why we need the marketing. That's why we need to link the data into the strategy and into the everyday things that we are doing in our companies, so that we can actually promote the actual data management, why it is important, and why it is important that our staff knows what to do with data, how to produce the good quality data for driving our processes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maija, you often say about data quality by design. So what do you mean by that?
I think data quality by design, it's a almost synonym for data literacy, almost. So we should somehow change our thinking, that instead of guiding and dictating and pushing the things, think about that. What are the actions we need to do so that everybody starts to think about the data? Of course, you need the definitions behind it, but if you are a process developer, don't develop only the process. Think about the data. Who can create what's in what steps, what kind of data? If you are an IT developer, think about what kind of thresholds, or ask at least what kind of thresholds you can build there. Is it possible that some person is 250 years old? You can build a threshold just using your common sense there. And this is a data quality by design. Think about, regardless what is your role, educate the organization thinking a data. First step is that at least there is some kind of tick in the box. Have I thought about this? Even I haven't done anything, but have I thought about this? So that's data quality by design, because by the nature, you don't build a house without a kitchen or toilet. In the same way, you should not build any IT solution or any business process or any analytical capability without thinking of data. So exactly the same thinking. That's a quality by design. Yeah.
But data has to also be fit for purpose. There's a tendency to think that everything has to be perfect, and in certain use cases, it doesn't.
Indeed.
Right. When I was at one of the banks, we were responding to data we were receiving through social channels, social media channels. And there was questions about the quality of that data. You don't need perfect quality in social channels to get a thread or a theme, right? If I'm building medical equipment, I need pristine data quality. So I think the importance of fit for purpose is critical. Yeah. And to the point, Hanne, that you made about, data's got to be in the strategy, but it's got to be up front. And when you asked about the maturity of data management here versus other parts of the world, one of the ways that I saw that just take off is putting people into the mindset that before you develop your technology, the thought of what data you need's got to be up front. Yeah. When what data you need is the last thing you think about, then your projects collapse, right? So maybe just that little change could just elevate the importance of data management, in the region.
Yeah, Juha, then you already touched quite well the challenges that customers face when they decide to buy tools, and then they actually don't have these other things around. The people don't have the ownership. They don't do those things we discussed about. But one question about because the technology has advanced a lot. That what kind of opportunities there are today, and how could companies better take these in use? Because I see tools that are taken but not really used for the purpose they were intended to. Yeah.
So I would say that maybe number one is that we also try to develop the tools and technology in a way that helps breaking these silos. So be a comprehensive tools that are not just point-to-point solutions that just creates more and more silos, that you have a unified tools to use that goes all across the technical capabilities of the policies and data governance topics as such, but now also to unify the data. So help different stakeholders speak same language. So if we think about a case that there is an analyst in the business side wants to build a new forecasting model, there we need a data scientist who needs certain data set. He goes to the data engineer and so forth. So how, and maybe the people are using different ways and tools again, because there is no set of rules applied. But anyhow, so the technology will help to also break these barriers in the future. So better tools in that perspective. And then maybe the second point is that work with partners. So I know that super talents in the room on the data management side, but looking at the frameworks and also the, let's say, the experiences that partners have from our side, of course, technology partners, but it's not just the tech, but also the how to apply it, how to get the message across to the other side of the door as well, and help you build not a sales story, but pitches how to be relevant for the business outcomes as well. So,
yeah, thank you. Maybe was that your also tip to the audience? So, or do you have anything else on that?
Yeah,
I think it was quite well listed. Tips to the audience, though. Yeah.
Tips to the audience. I would say that yes, on technology point of view. From Microsoft side, not necessarily specifically for certain policies or the governance topics, but the data unity is becoming a big topic now in the AI era. So how do we enable that fast for the business? And at the same time, you would have the capabilities of the data owners and data officers and data management professionals to keep it under control. In a controlled way, give the empowerment for the analyst, but and at the same time, you have the visibility and capabilities of controlling that as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that there's an expression I heard, and it's one of my favorite expressions when we talk about tools, and it's a fool with a tool is still a fool. So many times we'll see tools purchased without defining the requirements, and then they wonder why the tool doesn't work. It has nothing to do with the tool. The tool is perfect, but it was just applied incorrectly. So when we start getting into AI, same kind of thing. We have to be educated and really understand what that is and how it works, or else we're driving a car without a license, basically.
Yeah. I have a couple of questions to you, John, still regarding because we have a lot of this resistance and other things, and we have discussed the reasons behind those. But in addition to your tips to the audience, that could you maybe I leave it to tips only. I was looking at once, but but you can build there. But what would be your tips to our audience regarding now that they go home from here? Not many hands were raised regarding the resistance, but we all know that it is here and globally and so on.
I'd say for the data professional, and one of my favorite slides that I use is a picture of the perfect data professional, and it's an empty chair. Meaning get out of the office, go talk to the business, learn what they're doing and help them solve their problems. Again, I know I said the don't talk nerdy to me thing, but really that's very serious. Understanding the business need and being able to provide information to help with the business, that's going to gain you the confidence that they have in what you're doing. And amongst anything else, if you do that, you'll start to, and then you need small wins. You need those successes to start to demonstrate why this works, right? Another thing that data professionals tend to do sometimes is they go to the mountain for 3 years and expect when they come back things are going to be the same, and they're not, right? The word tactical is not a dirty word. Right? It's okay to do things tactically as long as they're geared towards a strategic objective. So when it comes to data, sometimes to solve an immediate problem, it's okay to do it tactically, but continue to preach, if you will, the objectives of the long-term view. And I'd say those two things are critical.
Yeah, good. Your tips then?
Think about end user. Think about, can that end user know what is the right data in that process step? Think about automation for the end user point of view. When I say automation, it's a very broad word. Does the end user have to use Excel's manual steps, or is the data integrated, automatically coming? Can you purchase the data? Too often we actually just type it in, even we could purchase it. Maybe coming back to AI, one day AI will help us. That I'm just speaking the orders and miraculously all the data enters to the order exactly like it should be. So think about the end user automation, or if it have to be done manually, still from the fingers on the keyboard. Think about, can the end user be thinking? And behind that one, you have then the rules and you have all the other things.
Yeah. And then Hanne, very
shortly, again, continuing from Maija, is that promote the role of the end user. They are the VIPs of the data management, and they are the ones that actually do the hard work here. The other thing that I would also bring up is that if you have a regulated business, run with it, because regulation is the best friend of a data management professional, and it will also sort of like justify all those efforts, what we need to do in the everyday work.
Okay, our time's up. Thank you all.